I think since we've seen the motor run, the next logical step is to get the power steering, the alternator, cooling system, all that stuff inside of the car. So we're going to start with what I have, which is the power steering. This kit is from Powered by the Hour, has a bunch of the accessory drive belts and all that jazz. The other reason that I want to do this now is it works with the Hydroboost setup that I have that I had to install in the car. Not sure how I'm gonna, have room to do the modifications with the motor inside, but I'll figure that stuff out regardless. So we're gonna open this up and I'm gonna figure out exactly how this stuff goes in, because I haven't looked into it at all. Which I should really look into this stuff before I start working on it, but I don't. The power steering pump installed, you have this bolt which gets taken out from the timing cover and replaced with one of the longer bolts. It comes with 3 bolts this size. 2 of them is for these to hold it onto the bracket, and then the one is to go through the timing cover. Provides 1 bolt for here and 1 bolt for down there that has a nut on the backside. So tightened all that down. This can actually be clocked so that these lines come out wherever. So I'm not sure if this is exactly where I want it to sit forever, but we're just gonna test it. It's really a matter of how the sway bar actually lines up. So we're gonna leave it here for the moment, and then we'll figure out the lines and everything a little bit later. I got this tensioner right here. Pretty sure it's the right one because this bolt doesn't go into any of the other holes. This is the only other spot that I know of that's supposed to have a tensioner on it, and it wouldn't work. So, and then this is just loosey-goosey here because I don't have my alternator yet, but I think that this is how it's supposed to be installed. So I got my sway bar in. That should be the part number right there. And this is supposed to work perfect with the Coyote swap stuff. Obviously, I don't have it actually bolted in. It's just zip tied right now because I don't have the brackets here. Regardless of that though, the oil filter will end up being relocated elsewhere. And then at that point, it won't be really any issue at all. So just one thing to keep in mind, but this is what part number I was told would work for the sway bar. So I came back to the shop today for the first time in a while, just dropping off some parts, not even working on it. And I realized that my paint started to bubble up here. I don't think it's actually even because of the prep work that I did. I think it's because I had my Hydroboost over here and some of the brake fluid probably dripped down onto this, just judging by how it's doing that, So, especially because if it was like paint prep or something like that, it would be coming off here too. And it's literally just this one little spot. So probably have to take this back off and then repaint this section, but that kind of blows. So I went ahead and I took the alternator bracket, the reverse mount bracket, off of the car. And then I just installed it onto my new alternator from Powered by the Hour. It has their pulley. I think it's just a different size pulley, but mounted it on. Obviously the longer bolt, you have the sleeve, and then this just gets threaded into the alternator. And then on this side, you have the nut and the bolt that go on. Now I'll just put that back into place and then we tighten it down. I did, before I put this bracket on and tighten these down, kind of hard to see, but I did snake the belt down in there just because there's no room. This cover is super close to where this comes around. So I did also just put it around the balancer here too, but I don't know if that's necessary. It is almost definitely necessary to put it on the alternator though, before you tighten this down, because it just brings it in way too close. All right, got the alternator pulley and everything on and the belt in place. So you can see it goes around here, the tensioner, around the pulley for the alternator, and then back down to the balancer. It was a pain to get on here, but I did get it. I just had to use like a pry bar and whatnot without messing this up too much. So now I think we can put the power steering one on, put the water pump belt back in place. All right, now we've got our alternator in, the power steering pump is in. I may have to clock it, but it doesn't really matter right this moment. All the belts are on, both of the belts are on, and we're ready to keep going. So I guess on to the next thing. think I'm going to swap out something super simple next, just for the sake of keeping things going. So I just removed this hose and that hose that comes off, or really kind of the neck for them. Regardless, I got these from Power by the Hour. They're billet replacements. And the reason why is this one has a tube that comes off for like the surge tank setup, which I don't have. So this has to go bye-bye. And then I put this in. So it's pretty simple. The one with the neck like that goes over here to line that step up, and then the one that's just straight goes right over onto that one. Now, I did replace that before, now for no reason, but whatever. I think with that in place, the next thing that I should start on doing is the Hydroboost setup, aka the thing that caused this to, start peeling up. Because this stupid thing leaked that stupid stuff on my paint. Anyways, we're gonna work on that. The first thing that I wanna do is use this guy right here in order to get this big nut off right here. The reasoning for that is that this plate gets replaced with the one that I'll show you from Maximum Motorsports. So first things first, take this guy off. While I have this on the vise, I just want to show you guys, this little snap ring does have to be removed. I don't know if it gets reused yet, but you do have to remove this, slide it off, and then that nut can come out. All right, I got the new piece right here. You can see it has that little indentation here. And what that is for is on this side, it has only one way to go on. So when you drop this down into place, it will just slide literally right to where it needs to be. So we can go ahead and resecure this. But before you put this back on, just note these teeth are aiming down, so it would be on this way when you take it off. But Maximum Motorsports wants you to actually flip it around so that the teeth are pointing up at you. And then you can go ahead and actually put this in place. And then this gets torqued down to 150 foot-pounds. And then now back over at the car, since we're a little bit more ready for it, we can start bending this metal up from about this degree right here to right about here. You just want to give this a nice little flare outward. So I can't really speak for everybody else because obviously my car is in a billion pieces, but on the inside here, we want to remove the 4 bolts that holds the steering shaft into this whole mount up here. How you get to this point, you'll figure it out, I'm sure. But this is kind of where I'm at now. So I'm gonna take these bolts out and then get this kind of out of my way and then continue to the back, because basically we need to get all the way back to here. Your mileage may vary, but I just took the nut out of that, the nut and bolt out of that. And then on the inside here, I took the whole steering shaft out, the whole steering assembly out of the car because it was easy enough. I'm already right here. So I had to remove the nuts that were on here. And then also there was one nut that went through right this section and then up into here. And then I could finally take the whole brake pedal assembly out of the car. Now I'm going to take this opportunity to just remove this crap because this stuff is old and gross and trash by this point. And then I'm also going to take this opportunity to probably just paint in this section, and that way I'm ready for later. I got the rest of the steering column and everything taken out of the car, and including the boot for the steering shaft to go through. I think my next step is actually going to be painting the inside here, which means I have to pull this wire back through. I'm going to put cardboard on the other side of the firewall, just that way nothing's getting painted from the backside, because that would kind of suck. And then I'll start painting. I do think that I'm going to end the paint about here, and then I'll continue going back later for 2 reasons. One, I'm not ready to paint the rest of this for reasons like that. We'll talk about that when necessary. And 2, I don't have the seam sealer done yet for sections like this that I did the rust repair and all that stuff in the past. So, like I said, we'll paint probably just from the windshield down to about here, and then call it good. I know it's not going to make for the cleanest paint job in the world, but it's kind of a race car, not really a show car. I went ahead and I painted this whole front section of the car. Does it look fantastic? No. Does it look terrible? I don't think so. It'll be fine for what I'm using it for. But I got all that painted up, and then now I Also have the pedal assembly painted up, so we will start putting everything back together. And I can also probably take this time to mount my clutch pedal and my accelerator pedal. Blah, 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 blah. Maybe I should paint this.